of themselves for the betterment of America. And then I was on my own personal quest, wanting to know why something inside was broken, why I didn't feel like I belonged. What I'm going to share with you next was discussed as people stopped my wife and I on the streets, Istanbul, the Maldives, the Malaysia, and asked me questions about what I'm going to share with you. I started studying the doctrine of discovery. What I found was fascinating and painful. May 4th, 1493, courtesy of the Vatican, the Pope wrote the doctrine of discovery. What I'm going to say is not an attack on Jesus Christ. It's not an attack on Christianity. I'm a Christian man. But it shows you how free will can influence people for their own empowerment, for their own greed. May 4th, 1493, the Pope wrote, courtesy of the Vatican, the doctrine of discovery. Any new lands found can only belong to the first Christian monarch that discovers them. And the inhabitants, the pagan, the indigenous people, must come under international rules of law upon landing on their shores. Their language, their religion, their laws, song, dance will no longer apply, and they must submit to Christianity. But then it was realized if the indigenous people submitted to Christianity, they could own land. So it was determined the indigenous people of the Americas had no souls. Half of me was not human. The European half had a soul. Justifying one of the most devastating genocides to ever occur on the planet Earth. Potentially 60 million indigenous people. Sure, germs played a major part, but germs were also planted. Justifying legal theft of the lands. 1823, we're a young country, 50-some years old. Our United States Supreme Court, to win a lawsuit, based their defense on the doctrine of discovery. Indian people cannot own land. Won the lawsuit for them. We can sign treaties and break treaties. Every treaty signed, every treaty broken. Locked outside of the American dream. When you're locked outside of a dream like that, what replaces it? A poverty of dreams. And people begin to break. That lawsuit gave birth, and that is still good law in our law books today. That lawsuit gave birth to Manifest Destiny. This land is a gift to the European immigrants from God. Now the land had to be developed. Slavery. There are no words to describe the inhumane assault, violation of the innocent. Following slavery, the slaves were freed. Jim Crow. Our leadership in Washington, D.C. goes to the poor white throughout America, saying, don't let them take your jobs. It's documented, creating fear. Fear gave birth to hate. Hate gave birth to racism. 1963, the Civil Rights Act is passed, and you find multitudes of leadership in America going to the streets in protest, protesting equality for all. That was counteracted, the Civil Rights Act, with the new Jim Crow, the war on drugs, to make first hippies and African-American men, soon spread to all young men of color, felons. That's our footprints, but that's not who we are. Other countries are discussing those footprints. We need to tell our own stories. Never in the history of our country has the need for tribal governments, state governments, federal governments to come together and, along with our marketplace, choreograph our journey into the horizon of our future and find the birth of the innocence and the sacredness of our democracy. The footprints of the doctrine of discovery, Manifest Destiny, treaties signed, treaties broken, slavery, are etched into every fiber of our socialism, our social way of life, into our educational way of life, into our political system, forever dictating to a great extent our rule of law. We need to address, and ever in the history of our country, as the need to address issues has never been greater. If we don't address and fulfill the maturity of democracy, the sacredness of democracy, the promised land for all of our immigrants, past, present, and future, as well as the indigenous people, we become an autocracy. I vote for democracy. I challenge you to join me in spirit as warriors, promoting global unity through the dignity, the character, the beauty of global diversity, and do it in this manner. We promote within our own borders, within our own lands, national unity through the dignity, through the character, through the beauty of our national diversity, and give birth to the true form of democracy for the people, by the people, the equality and the sacredness. I stand before you in closing. Billy Mills, my Christian name. Ta Makosha Tekahila, my Lakota name. I'm humbled, I'm honored to be a citizen of the United States of America. I'm humbled and honored to be a tribal member, a citizen of the Oglala Lakota tribal nation. And I'm proud to say I was an officer in the United States Marine Corps, willing to give my life so democracy could live. Thank you.